Closed business.
Move, Barwick.
Thank you, Councillor Deputy Mayor. Can I get a seconder for that one?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stratton. I would just like to point out that Council's ordinary meeting is recorded in accordance with Council recording of Council meetings policy. Individuals may be recorded, and by remaining in the public gallery, it is assumed that consent is given that the image is inadvertently broadcast.
Through the chair, Madam Mayor, for that procedure, there's a mover and a seconder. We'd have to have a vote on that too as well.
Oh, did I miss that? Sorry. Back to that procedure motion. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Fortune, for that. That takes us to item 2, and I would like to welcome our clergy representative, Stephen Farrelly, with a prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, God of all wisdom and grace, we thank you for good governance and the blessings that flow from it. We thank you for the leaders of our city represented here. We ask, Father, that you will grant them insight, wisdom, and discernment and concord, and that you will prosper this city in their hand. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that. Okay, well that takes us to item 3 for the public forum, and we have no one here at the moment who wishes to speak, and which then takes us to item 4, which is a conflict of interest. Councillors are invited to declare any interests in relation to the agenda, including any late items presented. Councillor interests are noted against relevant items by the minutes clerk for action during the meeting.
No.
None.
I'll declare a conflict of interest with, perceived conflict of interest with 15.3, please, and we'll be leaving the room.
Thank you, Councillor Coughlin.
Through Madam Mayor, is there any reasons?
Oh, sorry, for the record, I'm the president of the Mount Isa Touch Association, which is the adjoining property.
Thank you. Okay, so that takes us now to item 5, and that's presentations. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Barry Marrick to the council, and would you mind coming in the middle? And Barry has a presentation to make.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We just go back a little bit in time. In the middle here?
Do you want to set
You love it. You love it.
Where do you want? Okay. Cutting a long story short, got a phone call from Community Relations at Mount Isa Mines. Now, most of you probably don't realise I work in collaboration with both the City Library and Mount Isa Mines, archiving photos, both with the city as well. This particular phone call said, can you come over sometime and have a look at what arrived? So, doing the dutiful thing, I think I went out shower, shave and all the rest of the thing, hopped in the car and went straight over. The gentleman had sent through a request for information on his father back in the 50s. Of course, they didn't have the information, but he sent a photo album and a pile of photos in a zippy bag. He said, they're not his father's. He said, to his knowledge, it's not his father's. I've worked out that he is an electrician. Right? And these go back from 1937 to the early 1950s. Some of them are the cleanest, clearest photographs that we have ever seen of Mount Isa. I have seen others that have been scanned by others, but these are pristine. 350 are contained in this. Probably 30 were named. Majority are named now. We don't know who the people are. Right? Nancaro was one mentioned, and Lofty, right, was another bloke. They were amateur photographers. There was a camera group here, because there's always a group of these blokes. So it's all over the mine, and it's all around town, as town was in those days. So there's photos taken at the Isa Hotel, having a beer and all that sort of thing. In there, there's 2 pages, I think, of Western radio service, repairing the Traeger transmitters and receivers that were used by the Flying Doctor in 1937. Right. So they'd only been out 9 years. Okay. They were all taken on small 2-inch by 2-inch or 50 mil by 50 mil, and were all enlarged in their own quarters. We know the date on one, because you can see the calendar on the wall. We know he was an electrician, because he's got a circuit diagram and a star delta starter on the wall. Right, so with this, I don't want it. I don't want it in my place. I don't want, MIM didn't want it because it would just gather dust. So we're both donating this to the council library for the historical section. They have been scanned, and I bought several hard drives. One belongs to the library, to mine. One belongs to Mount Isa Mines. These I go and pinch, update them, and take them back. So far, I've around about 10,000 photos. This year I've scanned 1,700 to start with negatives. Madam Mayor, you are now the custodian. If you have a look here, you can see the quality of some of these photos. So I bought a new album, and I put them in there and named them, because I've seen so many photos of the early days of Mount Isa Mines. They're relatively know just about everything. So we're going back to 1937, and the quality is amazing. Some of them, I believe, were done by Comet Studios, because more than one person has these photos. In particular, number 2 ore shaft. That's another story. That's another book that's coming out, by the way, all 200 odd pages. That's for our history. So you can see here, here's the one I was talking about. A small one there, it's been enlarged to there. He's also got 303 bullets on his bench, and also a hunting knife pouch, and later on they'll go on a hunting trip to Sunday Gully. Sunday Gully's nothing like Nancy girlfriend. Yeah. So with that, our heritage, both mining and the town's heritage. So there's plenty of room to add more. But it was a pleasure to do it, actually. It was a real pleasure. The ones that you'll get off the library hard drive are archival only. In other words, no Photoshop. You're not allowed, have certain restrictions on what you're allowed to do and not allowed to do for archival purposes by the State Library Board. It's a national standard, international standard, and that's the way I do every photograph. So,
Can I just say that I definitely want them? Thank you, Barry. I met you many, many years ago, and through what they call now the Minex, you have been diligent. I've been bringing photos to life and reminding everyone of the history of Mount Isa. And it's people like yourself who are self-made historians that keep our history preserved. So thank you. And as you know, that's we turn 100 in 2023, and those photos are when Mount Isa was 13 years old. So that's how precious they are. Yeah. Yeah. So of course, that's all we're talking about at the moment is 100 years, and this is something we'll be able to use. So thank you very much for giving us the honour of keeping these photos. I know the library will be very excited to have them, and they will be taken good care of. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yeah, Barry, I've gratefully received, I think, from both council too. I think there's a lot of work goes into this sort of stuff, and I know how much work you are doing behind the scenes on these sorts of things, and it makes great sense to have it at the library where, we are collating a lot of historical material, so it'll add great value. Thanks very much.
start to finish, each photograph takes at least 20 minutes, at least. The hardest thing is to collect the metadata, okay? Metadata is used on any photograph. Now it's got the GPS locations and that longitude, that sort of thing, but not in the early days. So that when you go onto a drive or online, when you type in, you want to find Sunday Gully, pick an argument like that. Those keywords everything has to be put into a metadata file. That takes quite a while. You've got to look at the photo, rephrase that fast. You've got to look into the photograph, not just look at it, look into the photograph, see what there's there that people might want to search for, and you put all those keywords in, and that's what happens when it comes out. So it's been a pleasure, real pleasure.
Okay, so our next presentation, and I'll just remind everyone that Mount Isa City Council every Friday, they wear casual clothes and they all make donations, and then once they have a pool of money together, they pick a charity or a worthwhile cause that they'd like to donate the money to. So very proud of the council for this initiative and our staff, and this month they've picked the Royal Flying Doctor Service, which is a great cause. So I just wondering if get a representative come up here, and I think we've got $611.50, and that's just from the staff putting in gold coin donations. So thank you.
On behalf of the RFDS, we'd like to say thank you to everybody for this donation. It keeps us flying and supports Mount Isa and the surrounding communities. Thank you again.
Okay, so we'll get back on to our next item, which is item 6, and it's the previous council meeting minutes. Can I get someone put forward the motion that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 26th of May 2020 as received and be confirmed?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Second, Barwick.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. All those in favour? And that's carried. We have nil reports for item 7, which is development and land use, with Councillor George Fortune. So we'll go on to item 8, which is works and construction, and that's Councillor McTully. Can I get someone to put forward the motion that Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Technical Services Monthly Report?
McRae.
Thank you, Councillor McRae.
I'll second the report.
Seconded, Councillor Fortune. Any discussion on this one?
I'll just speak to it if you're through the chair. Through just overview of the summary of the projects overview. At the moment, the progress through the funded projects are the Transfield and Brett Avenue shared cycle path design, and also the Thompson Road shared cycle path, and that's progressing very well along Thompson Road. There's also the Barclay Highway shared cycle path and the waste management facility, waste transfer station, and storage shed. Planning and design are currently in progress for the Pamela Dighton and Isa Street intersection redevelopment and the Pamela Trainer Street intersection redevelopment. There'll be in the Pamela Dighton Isa Street, a design for roundabouts to alleviate traffic and potential traffic issues there. The materials, planning and design still in progress for the MRF, the Materials Recovery Facility, and the design and construct for the Gallipoli Park Recreation Development. The Family Fun Precinct redevelopment stage 2 is still in progress, and the Outback at Isa Master Plan as well. And a big one there is the smart water meters. There's been a bit of media come out about that, but that'll put us in good stead for the future. Keep sure we keep a good eye on our water consumption. And there's in the final stage of progress is the self-guided bird watching.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Is there any other comments on this one?
Yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a question about that, and sorry, I meant to circulate photos, but where it is, there's absolutely nowhere to park because it's so busy, but that cycle path there at the end of, I think it's Transfield and Thompson, the corner there across from Healy School, I'm not sure whether that's completed or not, but it's just at the edge, there seems to be like a rather large cutaway of just bare dirt. I'm wondering if we're putting anything to retain that, because I'm just concerned that once it starts raining, the fences might move or it'll all wash onto the path.
Yep.
But I mean, if no one sees it or goes and checks on it.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor McRae, I'm not actually sure. That's something I'll look into and I'll get back to you if that's
Sorry,
all right.
I tried to take photos so you had the heads up for today, but it's so busy there with the school and that intersection, and there's just no parking there.
No,
to get the
no
photos.
problem. I'm sure there's a reason and what we're completing there. We are doing some extra work along the curb side to ensure that the, as discussed previously in relation to the grassed area, we're trying to remove that in discussions with TMR. But at the end there, I'll have to find out further details
Yeah,
for
I mean,
you.
what's done looks fabulous. I was just wondering if that was completed.
Yeah, no
Okay,
problem.
thank you.
Thank you.
Through Chair, could I just ask, the Isa Street pedestrian upgrades are just about on us, and that's a great project, just having a look at the plan. My question's around the intersection there at the end of that pathway in around the Woolworths and Post Office area there. There's a lot of unfinished islands in there, and I wondered if they could be looked at as being part of this project or added onto this project as like to be cleaned up and grassed or tidied up generally. Yeah.
So through you, Madam Mayor, I might hand over to the Director again. You're aware of where we are?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I believe what you're talking about is the walking network. In front of the Woolworths or across from the Woolworths there.
Yep.
So on last night there was a community consultation in relation to that work. That is being funded through TMR. It's actually part of a larger project in looking at upgrading that intersection with Camberwell and Isa Street. Camberwell there is a TMR road, and so our aim is to apply for application for black spot funding to upgrade that intersection. There was a death at that intersection last year, I believe. So the walking network as well as that intersection is all kind of combined. So we're working with TMR on that design.
Yeah. So the parts that I'm talking about are just on the edges of the islands, on both the Woolworths side and on the side approaching the hospital. Most of the hospital islands have been done right up to the intersection, but there's about a 20 or 30 metre piece there that's still untouched, which could be finished off, I think, and probably in front of the post office as well. But anyway, it'd be great if you could have a look at that.
Yeah, I'll look into that further and get back to you today.
Yeah, all right, thanks.
Thank you.
Could I just also say, Madam Mayor, it's fantastic to see some of these projects getting up now and coming closer to sod turning. Really is, and we've had a bit of a hiatus without anything happening because of various reasons, but it's really good to see them starting to come through now. So.
Definitely. Thank you. All right, if there's no more comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to item 9, which is beautification, parks, gardens and youth, and that's Councillor Kim Coughlin.
I've got to find it. The officer's recommendation is that council receives and accepts the May 2021 Parks and Gardens monthly report.
Thank you, councillor Coghlan. Can I have a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Thank you, councillor Stratton. Would anyone like to talk on this motion?
Yeah, just like to give an update. Grass has, of course it's winter, grass has slowed, so our mowing's slowed, but the crews are still busy with all maintenance and mowing of all parks around town. The equipment, we've got about 5 parks in Mount Isa that have got play equipment in it. They're being cleaned every 2 weeks. Unfortunately, there's a lot of continual vandalism in the parks, and also, unfortunately, there's a lot of stealing of plants that are getting put into CBD and Markham Valley Road. I'd just like public's help on this. If they do see anything or know anything, if they could report it either to Police Link on 131 444 or Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Very important that the community take this on board, and if they do know anything, just report it. The Family Fun Park is being cleaned daily. Every day staff look for damaged equipment and they report this so that it can be fixed or looked at, and they also report the vandalism, unfortunately, that happens every day at the Family Fun Park. They work in closely with the Mount Isa Police, and just on the upgrades and that, with stage 2 coming through, I know City Council are in the process of updating our website, and Facebook post I think is in progress, but the boundary wall, phase 1 of the boundary wall is underway at the moment. Construction of that is underway. Phase 2 of the boundary wall will be, construction is planned for July. Hopefully this will help with a lot of vandalism, that people can't kick the fences down or write things on them. The skate bowl should be commenced in July to October. The shade structure at the aquatic centre, that's due to commence in July to September. The shade structures at the Family Fun Park will be commencing late September to February, and then the Family Fun Park equipment, landscaping and surface upgrade. We're hoping construction of this will start in August 21, but that'll take quite a few months to finalise. So I think that might help people know that I know it has been a long process, and I do thank the Mount Isa public and all the people that do use these places for their patience, but it is very hard, not only in Mount Isa but all over Queensland at the moment, to get work done. There's a shortage of workers everywhere, so just like people to be patient and work with us. You've got 6 councillors here and a mayor that are quite willing to take phone calls from people and explain things. More than happy, CEO would be more than happy to meet with people as well. So if you have got any concerns, just pick up a phone and talk to someone so we can get the proper information to you.
Thank you, councillor Coghlan. I just have a question. Obviously we've got a lot of works coming up with, especially the fun park. So are we looking at are we looking at closing at some point the fun park? How is that going to work?
Through Madam Mayor, there will be an assessment done on the Family Fun Park over the next 7 days to ascertain if everything is compliant with work health and safety. We'll provide feedback to council after that assessment has been undertaken.
And when work's commencing, will we be closing the fun park, for any of these stages?
Through Madam Mayor, happy to be corrected by the director. We've got the work staged through there, so there will be certain times, if the Family Fun Park meets everything required under work health and safety legislation, there'll be a staged process with certain parts of the Family Fun precinct will be quarantined for works to be undertaken. But at some point in time, there will be a need to close the park to install everything. Madam Director?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, that's correct, CEO. We are very excited that we are moving into the design phase of that. We do highly encourage the community to participate in the community consultation that will be coming up. We don't have a date for that as yet, but we do highly encourage anyone that, I know it's a heavily used park, as I know I use it myself, so I do hope that people do come forward and participate.
Fantastic. And are we going to keep the community informed on our website as well as on Facebook of any possible closures in case people are keen to host kids' parties and things?
So through you, Madam Mayor, you may be aware that an initiative has been undertaken by Lindsay in relation to putting out a community newsletter which is now distributed at various places throughout the CBD and at all council facilities. I'm happy to say that they've run out of copies in most of the facilities to which you've delivered the first edition, and I've received nothing but positive feedback about that. So what we will do is make sure that that newsletter includes updates around the Family Fun Park. There is an update in the current edition, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll make sure that goes online, but also goes in the hard copy of the newsletter that's distributed through the CBD and at council facilities.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a great initiative. Was there any more comments before? Okay, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to item 10, which is tourism, events, sport and recreation and library, and that's Councillor Peter McRae.
Okay, I'd like to move that council receives and accepts the May 2021 Library Monthly Report.
Thank you, Councillor McRae.
Seconded.
And seconded by Councillor Fortune. Thank you. Any comments on this one?
Yeah, I'd just like to make note that in May we began our Couple with the Councillors consultation, where people can come along and chat with us informally in the library if they have any issues or want to discuss anything with us. We did have a few people come along, so it was good to meet with them and have a chat. Obviously this Friday it's not going to be on with the public holiday. Everyone get along to the show. It's going to be a great event. Mount Isa City Council sponsors. But the following Friday we're back to Couple with the Councillors, so if you've got a burning issue, would like to have a chat, just come along and meet with us at the library.
Yeah, that's such a great reminder, and we'd love to see the public, and it's very informal. There's tea and biscuits, and it's a good chance to come and bring up issues, or just, even if you just want to give us some feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Any other comments on the library report? All right, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to the next, 10.2.
Okay, I'd like to move that council receives and accepts the May 2021 Tourism and Events Monthly Report.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Oh, it's a tie. Deputy Mayor, thank you for the seconder. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of this motion?
Yeah, we had a 100 Years Advisory Committee meeting again yesterday. That's progressing nicely with our fortnightly meetings continuing. I spoke to Welcoming Babies Day last month. That was a really successful event, and it's highlighted in the report this month. I would just like to make special mention to the team, and in particular Petra, involved with the Move It program. I think they've done a particularly fantastic job for our town, one, securing the funding, and two, working with our sporting clubs and groups to get the number of people involved in the variety of activities. I'd just like to read out what's either already happened, progressing, or coming on long shortly. We've got community CrossFit. What else is there? Three Sons Fitness, Seniors Up and Go at PCYC, Aqua Fitness for Kids, Boxercise, Zumba, Yoga, Park Fitness with KP Fitness, Tai Chi and Aqua Aerobics. So I really feel that there's a wide range of activities to suit lots of people in our community, so congratulations to that team.
Thank you, Councillor McRae.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, look, it's been a really busy month, and I think it's fantastic to see all these activities. I just had a couple of questions out of the report. Page 38 about Pet Day. Has there been a venue selected for that as yet?
Through you, Madam Mayor, it's going to be held out the front here.
At the Civic Centre? Oh, great.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And my other question is, there's there seems to be some artwork there around, now let me get this right, Dromaeosaurus.
You're a brave man. I wasn't sure how to pronounce that, so I skipped that one.
It's
commonly
a rather
known as Big Bird.
large-looking turkey of some sort, but where have they been erected? Is that been
By
planned
the
out
look of
yet?
the photographs here, it's out the front of Outback at Isa, so that came through the state development funding for signage. So that's project's been funded, and I think it's going to look great when it actually happens.
So at Outback Advisor, is it?
Yeah.
Planned for, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
Big Bird.
Thank you. And I just got to mention this. So Daryl Braithwaite was booked for 2020 for the street, I want to say street festival, and of course that didn't happen. So this year we were definitely bringing Daryl back for the street party, and then we realised due to the COVID rules that it suddenly got complicated. So we have now secured Daryl Braithwaite for a free concert to Mount Isa on the Tuesday night, the 10th of August, and then we will still be continuing on with the street festival on Wednesday. So, you know, this is such a great thing council's doing. It's going to be getting people into Mount Isa one night earlier, and yeah, I'm just really excited that we've got this happening. So yeah, well done, Councillor McRae, and yeah.
I guess my question about that is having to have it over 2 nights. I know we've had to do that due to COVID safe regulations, but I'm just wondering how Townsville was able to have Jessica Mauboy, Birds of Tokyo, in Flinders Street dancing concerts on the same night. How does that work within the COVID plan?
Actually, that was a good point.
Don't know.
Oh,
Through
no,
you,
I
Madam
think
Mayor.
Flinders Street was definitely, you can only get in at once. I don't know, because people were in and out, weren't they?
It wasn't a ticketed event, but anyway, we'll work within the rules, and congratulations to Townsville. It was a fantastic event, and it would have been obviously good for us to have everything on one night, but we'll work with our 2 nights.
Yeah.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm just looking at the media person again. I'm not sure if we've come to a conclusion on the venue yet. We haven't, so it's down to 2 venues, the rugby or the school.
Yeah. Look, I think either way, it's a win-win for Mount Isa. I think we're all looking forward to rodeo and all the festivities that come with rodeo, so can't wait. Okay.
Chair, yeah, sorry, I just thought of something, if I can, through you. I'd just like to commend the organisers of the Minex event that just was held, and for kickstarting it again. It was been in abeyance for 3 years, I think. This is the 3rd year, and they're looking again now to holding it annually, and I think that's a fantastic move. And council have had to stall there and been involved as well, so we fielded a lot of questions at the time that I was there, but I know the staff were there for a lot longer. But yeah, just like to commend the organisers. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, so with no more questions, all those in favour? And that's carried. Okay, so that takes us to item 11, which is the environmental management, and that's Councillor Paul Stretton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Offers recommendations for 11.1. Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Water Sewer Monthly Report.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Would anyone like to speak for this motion?
I'd just like to say that the team's been going hard on water mains upgrade through the town. I'd just like to thank the public again for being so accepting of the work being done and understanding.
Yep, thank you, Councillor Stretton. And these are the works that council do that no one notices, but are extremely important for the city. Okay, if there's no more comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to 11.2.
Got a bit of a sore eye at the moment. Waste Management Monthly Report, 11.2. Offers as recommendation. Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Waste Management Monthly Report.
Thank you, Councillor Stretton. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Councillor McRae was too quick for you that time. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of this motion?
Yeah, I'll give you a bit of a summary. Construction of the waste transfer station and storage shed was well underway in May. Discussion around how the waste transfer station will be operated and what types of resource recovery council will have available to customers to prepare for completion in mid-July has started. Minor changes have been made with the project manager in relation to accommodation for staff. A visit to the Commonweal in mid-May has encouraged council to look at different options for waste disposal, as the facility still remains closed to community and they only have access to 3 bulk bins in town and on the other side of the bridge, which were mainly used by tourists camping there. A plan for more signage and at least 3 more bulk bins in being looked at with the community consultation. Down the road, I'd just like to say, Mr. CEO, I think we should look at some funding to actually put a transfer station out there of some sort.
Through you, Madam Mayor, we've already started discussions, if I remember correctly, Director Smith, in relation to putting a roll-on, roll-off down at Camberwell. Sorry, did you want to?
Acknowledgement that the current arrangements aren't working terribly well, but I think the suggestion of a transfer station is a very good one, so we need to go down that path as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no more comments on this one, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to 11.3.
Officer's recommendation there is council receives and accepts the May 2021 Environmental Services Monthly Report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Stratton. Can I get a seconder for this motion?
Second, Barwick.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
A bit of an overview there. Madam Mayor, we responded to 4 service requests in relation to public health concerns, inspected 4 food, business and 9 caravan parks and camping grounds, investigated 7 incidents relating to littering and illegal dumping. The biosecurity team inspected 91 sites across Mount Isa. City Council treating 46 active breeding sites for mosquitoes. Regular spraying of invasive species has continued. They also sprayed various invasion plant species over 12 separate and expensive sites across the Mount Isa region. That's about it.
Thank you, Councillor Stratton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I concur with Councillor Stratton's comments. I'll just note the ramping up on the illegal dumping there. I think it needs to be just sort of reiterated that we are trying to capture illegal dumpers with cameras and things, and that we are taking a very dim view of any of that those offences. So I just think that's worth raising again.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. All right, if there's no more comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to item 11.4.
11.4 Local Laws Monthly Report. Officer's recommendation there. Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Local Laws Monthly Report.
Thank you, Councillor Stratton. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
McRae.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Would anyone like to talk to this motion?
Yep. Through the chair, Madam Mayor. The Department of Agriculture and Fisheries has provided positive feedback on the care of animals at the animal management facility. We are really impressed with the quality of food council provides animals and the cleanliness of the council pound. Council works in collaboration with DAF by assessing in the seizure of allegedly mistreated animals and continue care of these animals until DAF has completed their investigations. Also, the Mount Isa City Council Local Laws Rangers will commence wearing body cameras in the next couple of weeks. The cameras will increase the safety and security of council officers working in the field and ensure organisation accountability. The technology means council has the capacity to investigate complaints made against field officers with clear evidence of what had occurred. Local Laws Rangers will also commence wearing lightweight navy shirts instead of bright yellow work shirts due to the camera harness and vest. And just a bit of a good news story there. A lady from New South Wales adopted a Kelpie cross from council in February. She said her experience with the Mount Isa City Council was so professional and helpful, she decided to adopt another dog, a Rottweiler cross, in May 2021. She regularly sends photos to keep the staff updated on their progress.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you. Is there any more questions on that? I was just going to... Oh, yeah, go on.
I was just going to ask through the chair if have they actually started using the cameras yet, the local laws officers?
Through Madam Mayor, I believe we're in the final stages of just working out the policy and the process behind how long the data can be stored. The data does not remain there in perpetuity. There needs to be a time limit on it. So that once that policy is put in place and the appropriate storage is allocated for what's filmed, that's when the final will go through. So they've already managed to, they've got the vests and they've got the the undershirt, which means that they don't get too hot. The camera sits in about the middle and allows them to go onto sites where there is likely to be a bit of tension, and in many cases that deflates the tension as well.
Through the
Right.
chair, does that mean there'd be a time limit on the time that people are able to make complaints?
There will be a time limit, but if it is a prosecution, then we will take it off the system and store it separately. But for all the other ones that are downloaded over that period of time, there is a storage limitation on how long we keep that information for.
Thank you. Thank you. And I noticed, well, I know that we're actually going to put a hard shade structure over the drop-off area of the animal management facility. Do we know when that work is going to kick off?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's in next year's capital budget. We have been in discussions with who are on site at the moment to see whether or not we can bundle that into work so that we are already organised for next year's.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Okay, if there's no more questions, all those in favour? And that's carried. Okay, so this takes us to item 12, and that's Corporate and Financial Services, Economic Development, Promotions and Development, and that's our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Phil Barwick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could I move that Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Customer Services Monthly Report?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Seconded, Fortune.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Would anyone like to speak to this motion?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Busy month again. We've had 1,999 calls. I don't know why we didn't quite get to 2,000 there, but it's an average of 115 a day. And I note they're also receiving 64 email requests per day now. So there's 621 cases logged in the system during May, of which 465 were closed. And that left us with 156 cases that are still open and they're working on. Look, I just wanted to comment that it's a very comprehensive report this month, and it's great to see some of the data coming through. It just gives us an idea of how busy they are at customer service and the attention that we're giving to, closing out cases. So, and it's great to see the email entries and that in there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. If no other comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to 12.2.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move that Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Corporate and Financial Services Monthly Report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stratton. Would anyone like to talk on behalf of this motion?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Great month overall financially. The figures are coming in a little bit better than our forecast, which is showing that we're 1.8 million ahead versus a projected deficit of 2.4 million. And the capital summary shows, as expected, that we are down there. We're around about a third of the capital spend that we had forecasted due to a number of reasons. Just moving on a little bit, the rates for the year have now been issued completely, and that includes any of the water consumption notices as well. And just like to note that we have advised the residents that collections of overdue rates have now stepped up, and we need to ensure that ratepayers are moving on their payments so they don't get too far behind. And just to note that some of the long overdue properties where they haven't been paid will be going to foreclosure later this year, probably around November, December. We're in a good position cash-wise. Total cash at the bank 60 million, of which of that there's 42.2 million is needed for commitments that are coming up. And there was a couple of other items I'd like to mention. So the final budget for next year is well entrenched now, and we're seeking approval of special meeting on the 22nd of June. And the financial year-end process is well underway now for the 2021 year. Just a note there about from the officers, the provisional estimates for the landfill rehabilitation has been comprising 12.6 million for the current site at the tip, and a further 639K for work on the previous site. So this is going to be amortised as an annual expense of 424K for June 2022, and that will increase by 5K per annum. So we've got quite a commitment there for council going forward for quite a number of years now to rehabilitate the landfill sites, and this is not unlike a lot of activity that occurs. All the land needs to be restored to good order. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And I think I would just like to make motion that the first reminder notices were sent out, and I think myself and some of the councillors thought that the wording was quite a little bit rough, but we were told that as part of the debt recovery process that we had to use certain phrases in that notice. So I did get a letter sent back to me with a lot of expletives put on it, and I do understand that if you are currently paying off your mortgage, your rates, that it is awful to get a letter like that, but it's just a generic letter that we have to send out as part of, is it the Act or the regulation? Yeah, so unfortunately, we do get that, if you are paying it off, it's not nice to get such a formal a letter. Okay, so if there's no other comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to our next one, which is 12.3.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just move the council receives and accepts the May 2021 Promotions and Development Monthly Report.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I get a seconder for that one?
Seconded, Fortune.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of this one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So it's fairly well laid out there, the work that the promotions team's been doing. We've covered off on the radio and the press, the newspaper, and also a lot of social media work. Once again, there's I just checked this with the CEO if I can, Madam Mayor, but I believe the skate bowl replacement concept design is still open for community consults. It says closing dates in June 2021, doesn't say.
I'd need to check that through the Director. Director Wallace, do you know if we're still doing I didn't think the consultation had commenced yet on the skateboard.
The skate bowl replacement.
The consultation that has commenced is in relation to a survey monkey that was put out with different designs. That's the first stage of it. We're getting final designs completed, and that will be brought back to the community.
Yeah. So still open during June, it would appear.
Sorry?
It's still open during June, the survey?
I'd have to double check.
Okay, no.
Yeah, the photos are up at the park. I've seen a couple of pictures. One's right next to the entrance into the pool, and then there's another one near one of the seats. So I'll double check for you.
Yeah, that's right. That's great. Thanks very much. So yeah, just to continue on through the chair, the Facebook's going well. We're still popping up an average of 3.2 posts a day, so that's keeping quite busy. And that's all for now. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Is there any other comments on this one?
Through the chair, there's a wrong information in here on the radio interviews. It has on the 26th of May that I did an interview for the proposed complaint fee. That was actually not me, that was Councillor McRae did that one. We just need that fixed.
Oh, wasn't it Councillor McCulley?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you did the interview, you did the
Councillor
interview
Tully
for it
didn't.
as well.
No, I think
You spoke on that on the radio.
I thought I spoke on Gallipoli Park.
You've also spoke on the fee.
Okay.
I'm positive, yes, I heard that.
We can check that and
Yeah.
fix it.
I did about 3, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, I'm positive you did, yeah. So the ABC
it was
actually
a
got
busy
it
week.
wrong. They said that Councillor McRae seconded the motion, but it was actually myself that did second the motion.
That's right. It was, Councillor Tully put forward the motion and Councillor Coghlan seconded the motion. I would like to also just mention that the COVID Community Vaccine Centre is now open to all members of the public. If you don't know where it is, it's if you're coming in on the Lockup Medical Centre side, as you go past the car park, it's a building before the nurses' quarters. And I'd just like to encourage all the public to now start booking their appointments, and let's get this vaccine rolled out. I know the hospital has reached out to Mount Isa City Council for a possible venue, so we're trying to work with them on that. If there isn't any other comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. Okay, that takes us to item 12.4.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll move that Council endorses becoming a committed member of the Welcoming Committees Network and implement the Welcoming Cities Standard in future planning.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Seconded, Fortune.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of this motion?
I'll just mention, Madam Mayor, there's quite a comprehensive document there that's attached to this motion, and it invites councils like ours to, to join that Welcoming Cities Network, and there is a lot of material in there that's worth having a look at when you've got some quiet time. Thanks very much.
Thank you. No one else wants to speak on this motion? All right, all those in favour? And that's carried. Okay, so that takes us to item 13, Executive Services, and that's the Chief Executive Officer, David Keenan. Would someone like to put forward the motion of the officer's recommendation that Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Council Decision Report?
Move, Barwick.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Would someone like to second that?
I will, McRae.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of this? Okay, all those in favour? And that's carried. 13.2, the Correspondence Report for May 2021. Would someone like to move the officer's recommendation that Council receives and accepts the May 2021 Correspondence Report?
Move, Barwick.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Seconder for this motion?
Seconded, Fortune.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Would anyone like to speak on this one?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. It's great to see these letters come through to the council. There is a letter there I'd just like to reflect on. The financial assistance grants is out for comment now. This has been a long sort of a struggle as to try and get this financial grant lifted, as it's been frozen and not really increased, relative to the needs of a community each year. So this is a welcome review. And it's being carried out at the state level through the Queensland Treasury Corporation. So we'll, as I understand it, we'll be providing a submission to this separately as a council. So I look forward to that being put together. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. If there's no other comments, all those in favour? And that's carried. And that takes us to 13.3, which is the updated Code of Conduct for Employees. And if I can get someone to move the officer's recommendation that Council adopt the updated Code of Conduct for Employees version 5.
McRae.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Councillor Stratton. Any comments on this one? Okay, all those in favour? And that's carried. Okay, which takes us to item 14, and we have nil for general business. So council will adjourn briefly prior to commencing in closed business. Thank you.
Through the chair,
13.4.
13.4.
The ALGA representation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alga. And,
Sorry, I've jumped. I've got it here. Sorry. Yep.
It's not on
Sorry.
the agenda.
I was just about. Sorry, we're not
It's
closed.
online.
We're not adjourned at the moment. Okay, so could I get someone to move the officer's recommendation that council is represented at the Australian Local Government Association, ALGA, National General Assembly to be held in the National Convention Centre, Canberra, by the Deputy Mayor, Phil Barwick.
Do you want to move it or second it?
I'll move it, please.
No, so I'll move that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Fortune. Can I get someone to second that motion?
Stratton.
Thank you, Councillor Stratton. Would anyone like to speak on behalf of this motion?
I'd just like to know what is Mount Isa going to get out of this?
Through you, Chair. Yeah, look, we struggle with it a bit as well, Councillor Coughlin, generally because it's fairly, you know, abstract kind of material. But through other sources, we've seen that there's forums there to be held that include opportunities for mining cities to contribute with their resourcing problems and their infrastructure problems, and to combine as a group, which may well be a good lobbying point for Australian government going forward. So that's probably one of the main reasons.
Through the chair, wasn't there a Mining Cities Alliance meeting at the same time to decide?
No, there will be an informal meeting that's been held recently, the Australian Mining Cities Alliance, which I attended, but those councils will certainly be there as well, represented. Yeah.
Thank you. And when we went to the LGAQ conference last year, one of the things I noted is I went to sort of a resource communities forum with the Deputy Mayor, and it was really obvious to me that Mount Isa is very unique. We're a big city with a mine, and that is very unique in not just Queensland but Australia. So we do have to have a strong voice and talk about what our challenges are, and also be heard by the right peoples. Okay, so if we don't have any other comments on this one, all those in favour? And that's carried.
I'm against.
Would you like your vote recorded,
Be
Councillor
noted,
Coughlin?
please.
Yep, thank you. Okay, so I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, I haven't. So we have nil for general business, and council will adjourn briefly prior to commencing in closed business. Thank you. Really, I need a cup of tea.
I'm used to my dad. I think I'm having a stroke.
Not a twitch light, but it's like rig, and then suddenly, I don't know. Like I've got Ray out of there, like there's nothing in there. No, I can't see. But it just feels like there's, yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting ready to go. It's sensitive drop.
Carried. Okay, so item 15.1, do you just want me to read the executive summary or just? Would someone like to move the officer's
Through the
recommendation?
Chair, I'll move the motion, thank you. I'll move the officer's recommendation that council award supply and delivery of one new construction grader to Hastings Deering Australia Limited for the sum of $440,000 GST exclusive, and accept the trade-in offer of $180,000 GST exclusive.
Thank you, councillor Fortune. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
Second.
Thank you, councillor Stratton. Anyone like to speak on behalf of this motion?
No, thank you. Look, it's part of our fleet that needs to be turned over from time to time, and our assets management plan will get on top of that, the rest of our fleet, but it'll be a addition to our fleet, or a replacement to our fleet item, and for ongoing works.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favour? And that's carried. Would anyone like to move the officer's recommendation for 15.2?
Through the Chair, I move the officer's recommendation 15.2 that council authorise setting up a yearly budget and service agreement with Isa Quarry Company Limited for the sum of $400,000 GST exclusive.
Thank you, councillor Fortune. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
I'll second Barwick.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. All those in favour? And that's carried. Item 15.3, would someone like to-
Through the Chair, I'll leave the room now as I've got a conflict of interest.
Thank you, councillor Coghlan. Would anyone like to move the officer's recommendation?
Through the Chair, I'll move the officer's recommendation that council award stage 2 design, supply and construction of boundary wall and fencing for the Family Fun Precinct development, stage 2 to Oscott Constructions for the amount of $86,393, a total contract value of $268,638.31 GST exclusive.
Thank you, councillor Fortune. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
McRae.
Thank you, councillor McRae. All those in favour? And that's carried. Okay, so that takes us now to late item 1. Would anyone like to move the officer's recommendation?
Yeah, I'll move that, Madam Mayor. Officer's recommendation, Mount Isa City Council along with Cloncurry Shire Council and the Mount Isa Water Board facilitate discussions with the Queensland State Government to investigate the potential establishment of North West Water, and that Mount Isa City Council participate in a delegation including representatives from the Cloncurry Shire Council and the Mount Isa Water Board to meet with the Deputy Premier and the Minister responsible for water, Cloncurry Shire Council and the Mount Isa Water Board, and that a submission be made to the Queensland State Government supporting the development of a business plan for potential establishment of North West Water.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder for that motion?
McRae.
Thank you, councillor McRae. All those in favour? And that's carried. And that concludes our ordinary meeting. The time is 10:46.